Non-Americans of Reddit, what's the biggest story in your country right now? Slovakia, a journalist and his fiancée copyright were murdered in their own house. He was working on an expose copyright about the Italian mafia meddling with our politicians. Nationwide protests, core politicians stepping down in response. More of the evidence is coming out, journalists are working nationwide to bring his legacy to light. Newest Prime Minister seems even worse than what we already had. Generally, not a good time to be a Slovak or Slovak politician right about now. Biggest story in the Czech Republic right now as well, even though it has virtually nothing to do with us. Only the massive incompetence of the city government of Prague is getting an equal amount of media coverage. Senegal, several kids have been murdered and decapitated in different towns by unknown persons. This type of thing does not happen here. Oh my, that's pretty disturbing. Do the authorities have any leads? If they do, they haven't said. Italy, just made the elections. The two main parties, who for months have talked badly about each other, are about to ally themselves to make the government. The old switcheroo. New Zealand, Bambi the blind alpaca faces life-threatening loneliness if his stolen brother isn't returned soon. Update. This is so sad, sad face. I hope he comes home soon, dear alpaca. Edit. I hope he comes home soon without blue balls. Haha oops. Someone stole an alpaca. I made fun of the headline, but it's a really sad story. There's one other alpaca left in the paddock who's blind, and he relied on the stolen alpaca to help him navigate. He's just been sitting in the middle of his field in a very visible depression. Update as of April 2nd. Oh, yes, saw that and it is horrible. The poor blind alpaca can't go anywhere, plus the stolen one was his sibling who he's known all his life. I am going for a drive this weekend to see if I can spot it anywhere. NGT, I am going for a drive this weekend to see if I can spot it anywhere. Damn, the world needs more people like you. Colombia, the biggest oil company in the country had an oil spill in a zone full of fauna, and this not only killed thousands of animals, but it also affected the fishermen and a lot of families had to be relocated. This was the company official statement. Knock, knock, it's the United States. Did someone say oil? Egypt, the election. Apparently the guy running against Sisi voted for him in the booth because he couldn't see his name and not vote for him. This whole election is a sham. Edit. I'm not Egyptine, I just live here. My favorite part is how he has covered every inch he could in banners and campaign ads that look like low-budget historical hero movie posters. Edit. For those, /Paul Allen's face, /Rasamatas, /Harboring on Element, /Wildbird57, who wanted pics, I compiled some favorites on here. Australia, our cricket team are a bunch of dirty cheats. I don't even give a shit about cricket and I'm embarrassed, on live TV, what a bunch of dickheads. And trying to hide it in his pants, like, how does that not look suspicious at all? Children are getting abducted here in the Philippines. People say it's organ harvesting and it's honestly quite scary. I'm seriously surprised the government is mum about this. Kids, teens, and elderly are being abducted either for organs or to beg on the streets. My grandmother had dementia and was a wanderer. She was lost for 3 weeks. We found her face beaten beyond recognition, and the people who lead her to us was after the reward money. That was 15 years ago. The government is not doing anything about this. I am so sorry. OMG, was your grandma able to recover? Germany, Carles Puigdemont, former Catalan president, arrested. Discussions about the obligation to extradite to Spain. Also probably the biggest news story here in Spain. New Zealand, tried to find some Russian spies to expel, but apparently we aren't important enough to have any. Somewhere in New Zealand there's a Russian spy having a little heart attack every time he reads this. France, either the terrorist attack in a supermarket or this old lady who survived the Holocaust, killed in her own home because she was Jewish, in 2018. Edit. Killed not kill. NGT, old lady who survived the Holocaust, kill in her own home because she was Jewish, in 2018. Killed by who? Edit. Jesus Christ. My most upvoted comment is a simple question. I've found the secret to Reddit karma, everyone. This is awesome. Could we do a weekly of this? Edit. Thanks for the gold, stranger. I always wondered what this did, now I finally can figure it out. Awesome. I feel like this could do for a whole new subreddit. Edit. it seems like many of you like the idea of this being made, so we're trying to make it work. You all are invited to our/casual world news. I hope we build together a great place. I suppose our/world news should be for that, but it seems more like an international news section. Sweden, a psychopathic Danish inventor, allegedly, murdered a Swedish journalist. Edit, yes, the story is really old, it's the trial that is getting the media's attention. On a home-built submarine. The case is basically a real-life episode of The Bridge. Watching BBC Breakfast News and number one story is countries around the world expelling Russian diplomatic staff. LOL in New Zealand headlines, we would expel Russian spies but we can't find any. Ah, never change New Zealand, the world loves you. Belgium, today there is apparently a strike. Taxis are blocking the entrances and exits of Brussels. In reality there are only around 650 taxis, so only a few sides of Brussels are blocked. And because everybody knew it, they took the train or chose to work from home, so I'm not sure about the impact. The taxi men are protesting against Uber, because Uber drivers don't pay taxes and licenses that other taxi drivers are paying, so this is disloyal competition. Last week's huge story was a huge scandal of a company called Vevoba that was selling meat that had been frozen for years, and obviously rotting, to Easter countries. Disgusting. Update, I meant Eastern countries, but I love Easter eggs and I want chocolate. Wow, Uber wants to come to our province, Manitoba, Canada, but our insurance is public and didn't allow for it. They lobbied the government, who in turn caved, dissolved the taxicab board that oversaw all taxis, and changed insurance. But Uber said it wasn't good enough and said they wouldn't come if they didn't get exactly what they want. This all while taxis were protesting, suing the government, petitioning, and striking. 2 or 3 smaller companies have since taken the opportunity the government has provided and are making bank. Our taxis here were absolutely horrible, because they could be. 2 companies ran the board and they allowed their drivers to get away with everything except murder. Glad that's over. In Finland a singer was caught with crystal meth, for the second time. My friend, if that's the biggest news in your country right now, I'd say you guys are doing pretty damn good. Finland is typically an alcohol drinking country and drugs are very negatively viewed. Moreover, this singer, Jari Salampa unspecified currency, is Finland's national treasure since many decades. He's considered a total goody 2 shoes and holier than thou, arguably Finland's biggest celebrity. People are shook, they simply can't believe our Jari would do something like this. Stories are emerging that he's not only using methamphetamine but is part of something bigger. He confessed he gives himself 4 fluids to stay hydrated. It's not the biggest story, much bigger is a top director #meta/bullying story and the ill-fated health reform, but it is the biggest entertainment story. Terrorist attack with hostage crisis in one of Trebes supermarket near Carcassonne, south of France, last Friday. A Lieutenant Colonel, Arnaud Beltrame, switched itself with the woman the terrorist was using as a human shield. Beltrame managed to keep the special forces what was going on inside the supermarket, and thanks to that, they could launch an assault on the guy when he decided to shot Beltrame. They killed the guy, Beltrame died the next day. Tomorrow there will be a national homage to Beltrame. Till Carcassonne is a real place. Seriously though, terrorism is deplorable and Beltrame is a hero. Austria, former government established a law to ban smoking from restaurants, bars etc. The new voted government abolished said law before it came to effect, although the majority of the population was against the abolition. Also, one of our ministers claimed to have been wiretapped. It was a telephone line. Venezuela, the country with the biggest oil reserves, is about to shut down 3 refineries, due to lack of crude oil to process, SMH. So nail in the coffin. Brazilian here, probably the execution of a Rio de Janeiro's city councillor. She was an activist for women and LGBT rights, and criticized the police for brutality, militias, among other things, which was the reason she was murdered. This really upsets me, hope your country is going on the right path. Narrator, it wasn't. Venezuela is quite literally falling apart. There have been a lot of headlines in the US about Venezuela experiencing widespread shortages of food, consumer goods and severe inflation. Does that picture seem accurate? Bro, it's worse. There's nobody picking up trash, so people just burn trash piles on the streets, which causes holes in the streets that no one patches up, along with food shortages, there are sickness infestation ls due to the filthy streets, there are almost no cars. Of my entire extended family, only like 3 people have functioning cars right now. Crime and danger are at an all-time high. If you have your phone out, you're practically asking to get mugged. Nobody stops at red lights anymore at night because of this. You'd have to be an idiot to, especially since police officers no longer enforce the laws anyways. I literally saw a donkey-drawn carriage last time I was there. Raised there for my first 9 years, and I was literally there for a week last year. It's bad. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification. See you on another video. Bye.